Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to start our class with properties of systems, which are to be applied to any system or any signal which is to be applied to a system, and what about the behavior aspects of it and how it is going to behave based on certain properties or certain properties, how we are going to define it. Okay, so first we are going to define certain set of properties, and then we are going to come to a conclusion that we are having such signals which obeys a property which is there. Okay, so let me start. Yeah. Okay, these are the concepts that we had covered in the previous class. Complete module 1 will be there for your internal assessment, I repeat. So see to it that you keep on working. Okay, yeah. Just a moment. Okay, yes. So now if I want to analyze any signal, I think we have already done with classification of signals and basic operations that are being performed on independent variables, dependent variables, and we have solved few number of problems, good number of problems to be precise, and we can certainly understand how would the signal behave, like whether it is an exponentially decaying one. I think the type of the signal what we had discussed in the previous class, exponentially decaying, exponential growth, okay, and sinusoidal signal, whether it is a sine function or a cosine function, we can generally call it to be a sinusoidal function. Next, we were discussing regarding the unit impulse function, okay. Next, the step function, okay, unit step function, and also the ramp function there. Okay, so all those signals which come in handy in case of low power electronic systems or low electronic systems. Okay, so to analyze this system, whether certain properties which are being applied to a system there, so how these systems behave. Okay, so that is one thing that we are going to discuss regarding the properties of systems first, and later on we are going to analyze it with respect to any given signal. Either it might be a discrete domain signal or a continuous domain signal, we are going to analyze it. Okay, so let me start with the first concept, that is the system here. Okay, so first let us understand what is a system. Okay, so a system, okay, when you come across any like a college, which might be a system also, it is a system where you will be having the head of the institution, and later on you will be having the HODs, and we have a system which is already in place, which is governing the activities of the college, or if I want to take a class. Okay, so that is one simple aspect, and this forms a system. Once you have an interconnection of certain things which are there in any application to be considered, you call it to be a system there. For example, if I want to call it to any electrical or an electronic system, I need an interconnection of components being there. Okay, so I need to term it, or I need to call it in such a way that I need to have the interconnection of components there. So with this interconnection of components being done properly, I need a proper input that needs to be applied, and depending on the action of it, okay, so depending on the action of it, I repeat, depending on the action of it, the output is obtained. Okay, so input you are going to apply it, and you will be having the interconnection of components being done, and later on you will be having the output that is reached. For example, a simple example what I can take here, it is the multiplier there. So multiplier, okay, so x of t, okay, so x of t be any signal that is being applied to it, and I need the multiplying operator which is already there. Okay, so y of t, okay, so y of t, so multiply, it might be some 10 there. Okay, so 10 into x of t, okay, so 10 times the value what is there here, it forms the amplitude of the signal that is increased. Okay, so this is the amplitude of the signal that is increased. Later on, you'll be having the derivative operator, okay, derivation being done. Okay, next you'll be having the integrator being done. Okay, so each and every input signal which is applied to this block. So this block represents the system here, and the output is entirely dependent on the system operators that has been applied and its components, how it has been interconnected, and we can call this one to be the system there. Okay, so SY, a system. Okay, a system is nothing but the interconnection of components when actuated with the proper input signal gives the output signal there. Okay, so it might be any signal that is there. So X of t and X of n, generally any discrete signal also which is to be considered, I can call that one to be a system which performs a suitable operation, and based on the interconnection of components you get a proper output. So without the input being applied, if you just keep a system, okay, if you just keep a system, so it doesn't operate there, right? So you need a proper input that is needed for the system to operate to give the output. Okay, so any output domain or output signal that you need to have, you need to give the proper input, then interconnection of components, then you will be having the output there. Okay, so now I can certainly relate it with the cause. Okay, so cause, effect. Okay, so cause and effect there. Okay, so what causes, okay, what causes and what effect it has. Okay, so both are two words which are quite important. So cause, what is the cause of it? Okay, so next, how is the effect on the output? Like generally the output is generally defined as the like the effect there, right? So now this cause is nothing but the input, and the effect is generally called as the system output there. Okay, system output. So the what is the effect of it due to the components being interconnected is generally called as the output of the system. Okay, so cause and the effect relationship can be dealt here in case of interconnection of components. Okay, so now if I have this interconnection of components being done, I need to apply the suitable mathematical technique. Okay, suitable mathematical technique that is to be applied to the system there, right? So suitable mathematical technique has to be applied, interconnection of operations. Okay, so all these things which comes into picture, and also depending on certain properties of the system, okay, which is the main highlight here. So which is the properties of the system. So suitable mathematical modeling has to be done. Okay, so modeling is nothing but the equations, set of equations that are there. So upon giving the right set of input, if I apply the suitable mathematical technique and its properties associated with it, I can generally get the desired output. So that is what a system is all about, and entirely it needs to have a input signal and you need to have the output signal. Okay, so I can represent it by the block diagram. Okay, so as I already told you, X of t. Okay, so X of t, and you have the output as Y of t there. This one, the overall operator of the system can be represented by T in flower bracket at there, right? So T is nothing but the operator that is governing the interconnection of components or certain set of mathematical equations which are represented by the operator here. So this dot represents, it might be the equations which are nothing but the fraction form of representation, or multiplier, or differentiator, or an integrator. Okay, or simply we call multiplier to be the gain of the system also. This one is said to be the operator here. So for a continuous time domain, I can represent it like this. Okay, and similarly for a discrete time domain also I can represent it by X of n. Okay, so this is X of n, so I can represent it to be T again. So this forms the Y of n. Okay, so this forms the Y of n. Okay, so this is how I can represent it by the block diagrammatic approach. Okay, so representation of the system, representation of the system here. Okay, so it is a continuous time system viewed as an operator. Okay, so this operator is represented by T and in flower bracket. So this one is the operator here. Okay, so this one represents the operator. So discrete time analysis and also the continuous time analysis for everything, the T operator, we generally call it to be a T operator. There we can write it like this. Any operations which is being performed, either you can have set of equations like Laplace transformation or Z transformations or any other Fourier uh, like continuous Fourier time operations, discrete Fourier time operations, and so on. Okay, so we can have such operators which is being performed on any system there. Okay, so now let me come to the first property which needs to be discussed. Okay, so first properties of systems which I need to discuss, and later on based on these properties we are going to analyze the given signal. Either it is a linear system or a memory system, it is having a memory, or very important one is the causality of the system. Okay, causal. Okay, so next one you are going to have the time invariance. Okay, so time invariance. Okay, so next one you are going to have memory. Okay, next one is the linearity, which is quite easy. Next you will be having the invertibility. Okay, I'm just writing it, invertibility. Next you are going to have the stability of the system. Okay, stability plays a major role in each and every system which is there. So we are going to discuss all these 6 dominant properties on the systems there. Okay, so let me go with one by one. First one, the properties of systems. Properties of systems. Okay, the first property of the system what we are going to discuss is the property of linearity. The property of linearity. Okay, so as you utter the name linearity, okay, linear system. Okay, so we can certainly have the principle of superposition there, right? Principle of superposition. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to be very clear upon. A signal or a system is said to be linear. Signal or a system is said to be linear. It's said to be linear if it obeys the principle of superposition. Principle of superposition. Okay, so a signal or a system is said to be linear if it obeys the principle of superposition. Okay, what do you mean by that? As I already told you, I have an operator called as T. Okay, so it should have the weighted set of inputs. Okay, what do you mean by weighted set of inputs? I need to have 2 inputs, say x1 of n and x2 of n. Okay, so weighted sum of the inputs there. Okay, so it might be having any such constants, okay, which are generally related to the magnitudes a and b. Okay, so these terms a and b are related to magnitude. Okay, so now this operator, that is a x1 of n, and I have b x2 of n. Okay, so I have 2 weighted inputs. Okay, weighted inputs is nothing but it has a value there, right? So this weighted inputs, when I take the sum of it, okay, so when I take the sum of it, what do I need to get? Okay, if I apply the operator on a signal there, right? So if I need to apply this weighted sum of the inputs, that should be equal to, okay, a is generally a constant, so that is a t of x1 of n, okay, plus b t of x2 of n. Okay, so 2 input signals have to be defined there, right? So as I told you, this one is the equation or the property which needs to be analyzed to say it as a linear system. Okay, so to say it as a linear system, I need to have the weighted set of inputs, that is x1 of n and x2 of n. Okay, so x1 of n and x2 of n, I can say that one to be the weighted set of inputs which is applied to a particular signal it is the T operator which is there. Okay, next we are going to have the signal which is represented like this. These are nothing but the individual sums there. So this one is the sum of the weighted inputs, sum of the weighted inputs. Okay, so next one I'm going to have the individual sum there. Okay, so this is the T operator on x1 of n, if you are seeing it. So T of x1 of n. So next one, that is individual signal. Okay, individual signal x1 of n. So this one is the individual signal, okay, of x2 of n. Okay, individual signal of x2 of n. Okay, so then I can say that, then we can say that the system is linear, or the signal, we can say that the signal is linear. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to remember. And similarly, you can apply the same thing for the continuous time domain also. Okay, so x1 of t plus b x2 of t. Okay, what do you mean by this one is, again I'm repeating it. So it is nothing but the T operator there. For example, you will be given a signal. Okay, so you need to apply this one, the weighted sum of the inputs, okay, to that signal there, right? So you will be having somewhat like x1 of n plus x1 of n minus 1. So you need to apply for x1 of n, you need to apply it for x1 of n plus b. This one is the weighted inputs there. Okay, so if you apply two inputs that are there, and if it obeys this property, then you can say the system to be linear. Okay, so I can write it like a t of x1 of t, okay, plus b t of x2 of t. Okay, so then I can say that this system, this continuous time signal which is given there, is said to be linear in nature. Okay, linear in nature. Okay, so I can say it to be linear in nature. Okay, so if it does not obey, I can certainly say that it is a non-linear signal which is there. Okay, let me give an example right now to make you understand. So an example, a simple example is a gain of a system. Gain is nothing but the multiplier. Okay, so if I want to analyze a signal, I can certainly call that to be the gain of the system, or the multiplier operator which has been applied. Okay, so a simple one is called as an amplifier, a simple amplifier. Amplifier is nothing but a signal which gets amplified, an amplified version of the amplitude. I mean, the amplitude of the signal gets amplified there. Okay, so now I can say this one to be x of t. Okay, so this one is said to be the k. I can give a value called as a 10 there. I'll be having the output y. Okay, so that is y of t. So that is 10 times x of t. Okay, so 10 times x of t, which forms the output there. So here I can take this signal to be x of t here. So this one is the amplified, I mean the amplitude is said to be increased to 10 times that of the original amplitude. Okay, so I can call the value k, generally represents the gain of the system here. Okay, so k represents the gain of the system, and input and output x of t and y of t. So now I need to have this operator, say t operator, that is the t operator which I need to apply on it. Okay, so for this operator, what do I need to do? I need to have the input signals, that is a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. Okay, so that is to be applied here. Okay, so now a is a constant. I can apply the operator only on the signals which are there. Okay, so a and b are generally constants. If you come across ax plus b or something like that. Okay, so a and b are said to be the constants there. That is plus b t of x2 of t, that is there, right? So now it obeys the principle of linearity. I can say that the given system x of t is said to be linear, Okay, so this one holds good for the linearity property. Next one, y of t. I'm doing it for your benefit. So 10 times x of t. Okay, 10 times x of t. So only this signal, that is, if I have the t operator being applied, okay, so the t. So yeah, so it would be 10 t of x of t again. Okay, we have already proved it, right? So that is 10 times the value what you are going to get. It is going to be linear again. So only there is an increase in the amplitude. So this constants here, okay, so which forms the increase in the amplitude there. Okay, so there is nothing change as of now. So only you can observe here, these are the constants which forms the amplitude variation here. Okay, so this is nothing but the amplitude variation. Okay, so this signal y of t, I repeat, it is not x of t, y of t is said to be linear again, is said to be linear. Okay, so it is a linearity property being expressed, here. Okay, so now let me take another one, which is say y of t being x squared of t. Okay, it's a squaring circuit or a cubing circuit. Okay, so any power which has been raised. Okay, so how the linearity property is, does it hold good or not? Okay, so let me operate. Okay, x squared of t, that is there. So that is t of y of t, that would be equal to t of x squared of t. So t, okay, so to this x of t here, okay, so to x of t, I need to change it to a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. Okay, so this forms here the x of t. I need to square it. Okay, hope you are getting what I'm writing here. So this is the x of t signal that is there. So that I need to square it. Okay, so what do I get? So t operator again. So a plus b the whole squared, that is a x1 of t the whole squared plus b x2 of t the whole squared plus the other one, which is 2 times a x1 of t plus 2ab, right? So 2a, this is b x2 of t, right? Okay, so now on the other hand, on the left hand side, you are having the weighted sum of the inputs. So now you are having this, the addition term, that is 2 times the value, that is a and b there, right? So a and b represents a x1 of t and b represents b of x2 of t. So those are not equal there. Okay, so those are not equal. I can say that it is a non-linear signal here. The squaring signal, that is x squared of t, is said to be non-linear. Okay, is said to be non-linear. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to be clear with, right? So very important topic here. So you need to have the weighted. Yeah, sorry.
Sir, could you please explain it once more, sir?
Yeah, no problem. Let me start with a new page here. See, any signal is there, x of t. Prashant, who had asked the doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Prashant, you have a signal, say x of t or x of n. Okay. Yes. So this is x of t and x of n, isn't it? Okay. X of t represents the continuous time signal. X of n represents the discrete time signal here. Fine. So now to this signal, okay. So to this signal which is given x of t, I need to have the weighted sum of the inputs. So inputs here, I can categorize it for a continuous time domain as 2 inputs, that is x1 of t and x2 of t. Fine. So let me take a constants for your any constants which has been multiplied. So there is only a change in the magnitude when I talk about the constants being multiplied here. Okay. So as I already told you in my earlier lecture, I mean just I repeated few minutes back, which is t operator. Okay. So this is the t operator which is there. So this dot represents any such signals which can be represented by a particular set of equation. Okay, so t operator, that is the operator performed on it. We can generally say it to be a function f of x, right? So in the same manner, I can call this one to be the T operator here. Okay, so now I have the input 1. This one is said to be the input 2. Okay, I need to apply the weighted sum of this inputs. So what do you mean by weighted sum of inputs is, so each and every input that is there, that is input number 1 and input number 2, there you are going to have the amplitude of it. What I mean here is, at any instant of time, you are going to have an amplitude. Okay, it's a sum. Okay, in a into x1 of t plus this one, that is b into x2 of it, x2 of t. If you're going to take the sum of it, so then it should be equal to, okay, so this is a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, that should be equal to, only this t operator has to be applied to this system here. Okay, so t operator which I need to perform or which I need to apply, I'll be going for only this one. Okay, plus b x2 of t. Okay, so this one is said to be the t operator here. Okay, so once it has been equal to this value, that is LHS, I have this one, when it is equal to RHS, and then I can say the system is said to be linear. So the given continuous x of t, if this holds good, okay, so if this holds good, so t, yeah, I forgot here, this is t x2 of t, I can say that the system is said to be linear. So the same thing holds good for x of n also. Okay, it might be any logarithmic term or an exponential term that is there. So if it holds good, okay, if it holds good, you can say the system is said to be linear. Okay, so you don't call it to be a linear once, say only when it holds good, only when the t operator is being applied. Okay, so then you can say the system is said to be linear there. Okay, yeah, yes. So moving on to the next one, yeah, you will be having a lot of doubts here just because we haven't started with the problems. Doubts, what is this t operator and so on. Okay, so we can remember in such a way that this t operator is nothing but the f of x. I can relate it, or it is quite analogous to the function which is there as f of x. Okay, so next one is the concept of causality. Okay, so next one is the concept of causality. Okay, so how I can define causality? CAUSALITY, causality. Okay, so now a system or a signal is said to be causal. This is the statement: a system or a signal is said to be is said to be causal if the present value of the output, if the present value of the output is dependent on yeah, first one, the present value of the output. For example, say the output would be at 2 seconds, right? So now this one, for example, I'm taking here, so y represents the output. So if y at 2 seconds, okay, so y at 2 seconds will be having some voltage as 0.58 volt, right? So if this present value of the output is dependent on the present value or, okay, present value or next past value VALUE value, or combination of present or past value, combination of present or past value. Okay, so then you can say that if any of the thing, what I wanted to repeat here is or okay, so if the output is dependent on the input present value is dependent on input signal or system's present value, input signal or system present value or past value, or combination of past or the present values, you can say the system is said to be causal in nature. You can say the system to be causal in nature. Okay, the system or the signal is causal. Its effect is causality, right? So its effect is causality. Okay, so a system or a signal is said to be causal if the present value of the output, okay, is dependent on the input signal's present value or past value or combination of present or past values. Okay, so any system, so here you will come across delays, okay, or advancers. Okay, what we had already studied was, so you will be having a signal, that is the output, that is y of n. Okay, always remember one thing, y of n, okay, or y of t. Y of t, you can say such signals to be the output signals. Okay, output signals in discrete domain, output signals in continuous time domain. Okay, so y of n or y of t. Okay, so this value of the input signal, whether it is dependent on the present value or past value or combination of present or past value, I can say such signals to be causal in nature. Okay, so y of t or y of n. So y of n, how I can categorize it? So either it is the signal, that is input. Okay, so I can say this signal to be causal in nature, right? So how did I say this system or this signal is causal in nature? So you give any values there. So y of t, you will be having some values. So its value is dependent on the present value that is applied to the input system. So input, if I am operating at 2 seconds, okay, if I'm operating at 2 seconds, so its output y of 2 will be there accordingly. Okay, so y of 2, that is there. Okay, so that I can generally use it. So this one, any time inside, it is nothing but the time equivalent what you are giving here, right? So x of n plus x of n minus 1, so plus x of n minus 2. Okay, so any such signals which I give here, so these are nothing but the delays here, x of n minus 1 and n minus 2. Okay, so but the time instant at what you are giving and its present value, combination of present and past values that are there here. Okay, so present value, past value, or combination of present and past value. So then you can call the system to be causal in nature. Okay, so x of n minus 1 and n minus 2 are said to be the delayed version of the signal here. So this causal system, I can call it to be a non-anticipatory system also. Anticipation, so it is not dependent on any signal which is to be anticipated in the future. Okay, so it is said to be a non-anticipatory system. Okay, so I can call this one to be a non-anticipatory system. So all the physical systems, okay, all the physical systems are causal in nature. Nature. Okay, so where you will be having any such signal, say y of t. Okay, so any signal, say x of t minus 9, right? So t minus 9, so 9 seconds. Okay, so the present output, that is y of t, that will be equal to the inputs 9 seconds earlier. Okay, so 9 seconds earlier, if I want to, how do I analyze the system? So 9 seconds earlier. Okay, so 9 seconds earlier, that would be equal to the input there. So whatever the present value that you are going to give, right? So present value that you are going to give, so that would be 9 seconds earlier to the signal there, right? So the present output, that is y of t, is equal to the inputs 9 seconds earlier. So the time what I'm going to use here, it is nothing but the second values. Okay, so there is one more property and we will wind up. We have three more properties which we need to discuss. The next one is the stability of the system. So that is one thing which I wanted to highlight. Okay, so stability of the systems. We are left out with time invariant. Next, you will be having memory. In the next class, I'll discuss it. Memory. Next one, you will be having the invertibility. Okay. So now, when I talk about the stability in any system that you take, okay, any system, whether it is a continuous time or a discrete time or any system which is there in the nature, stability forms a major role. Okay, stability, the word itself is quite clear, stable. Okay, stability. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to remember. So by the definition itself or by the word, you can clearly say that the stability, you need to have a predefined number there, right? So if I want to operate the frequency of the system, that is 50 hertz, okay, the limit would be plus or minus 5% of it, right? So 49.5 hertz to some 50.5 hertz, I can say this is the stability limit of the system there, right? So in the same way, the voltage levels, plus or minus 10%, 220 voltage to 240 voltage. So single phase AC system, okay, I can call that one to be the stable range. Any value below it, okay, any value above it, I can call the system to be unstable. Okay, instability nature of the system will be exhibited here. Okay, so it exhibits the unstable nature of it. Fine. So now I need to have a number here, right? So for any system or any signal x of t or x of n, I can call the system to be stable in nature once I have a preset value of it. Okay, so in your relay or your circuit breaker, you will be having the current rating of it, isn't it? The current rating of it. So either it might be some 10 amperes, okay, current rating, or some 16 amperes, or some fuse. Okay, fuse, yes, it's a current limiting device, you can generally use it. So 5 ampere, 10 ampere, so the wide range of current rating, or even 100 amperes, right? So any such wide range of current rating can be used here. So now I will be having to express the stability in terms of the signal here. Okay, so the signal, so I just say a signal, say x of t, it keeps on varying like this. Okay, so varying signal, any varying signal I would like to take. Yeah, so now this is x of t signal. I don't know whether it represents any system which is being present here. So it is just a representation of a signal. Okay, so this is the representation of x of t. Okay, so any signal if I want to take which is continuous time domain, so this is one thing. Now if I need to identify its peak value, okay, so how do I identify its peak value? I need to search the time, okay, depending on the x-axis, what is the maximum peak that is being achieved. Okay, so this is the maximum peak that is achieved when x of t is positive. Next, this one, the negative one, this one somewhat around here, this is said to be the negative limit there. Okay, so I'll be having a number called as mx. Generally the mx represents the maximum limit, okay, maximum limit of x of t signal, right? So x of n or x of t, you can generally have the input to be x here. That is the maximum limit of the input signal that is there, right? So similarly, my is the maximum limit of the output signal. Okay, now I have mx, which is there, which is nothing but the maximum value, it is being reached somewhere around here. So once you have the limit being reached that is less than infinity, mx, which is the maximum limit which is less than infinity, and the signal that is there, either I need to have the modulo being applied to it, right? So then I can say the input which is bounded within the number here, so that is nothing but the bounded input. Okay, bounded input, and the output is called as bounded output. Okay, so you call the system to be BIBO, very important one, BIBO, which is called as bounded input bounded input and bounded output. Okay, what do you mean by bounded? It is with generally means within the specified operating limits or specified operating range. Okay, so I can call that one to be the bounded input, which is the input signal, and the bounded output here. That is called as BIPO system or BIPO signal. That is the bounded input or the bounded output, and bounded output that is there for certain input signal and the output signal. Okay, so all the system are said to be stable in nature. Generally, we'll come across only few examples where we can state that the signal is not stable, right? So all the stability, which is a basic property in the practical systems that are there, so you need to see to it that which needs to be beyond the limit there, right? So once it goes beyond the limit, say mx may be any number which is less than infinity, and it is generally the x of t will be greater than mx. That is the modulo, the value of it will be greater than that is there here. Okay, so mx is less than infinity. So this is the condition to be satisfied to say that the system is stable or not. Okay, so a discrete time system, okay, it can be applied to a discrete time system also, whether it is any discrete time or continuous time one. So you can call this to be x, which is less than infinity. Okay, so next, what you can generally call it to be, you can call that to be bounded input or bounded output stability, or it is stable, right? So BIPO stability, for if for every input sequence it produces a proper output sequence there. So that is one thing that you need to remember. Okay, so any signal, say y of n, it might be some x of n that is there. So any values x squared of n, you might take a value where you will be having x1 of n somewhat like this. Okay, so depending, yeah, let me give a linear signal there. So it is less than infinity, certainly, right? So this one is said to be stable in nature. Okay, so you need to write it in the problem where you will be having x of n. Okay, the modulo of it is less than equal to mx, where mx is less than infinity. Okay, so this change in the sequence, by translating a change in the sequence, so the bounded output will not change. Okay, so next you are categorizing it by bounded input, and depending on the categorization of the bounded input, you are going to categorize the bounded output again. Okay, so that is my is than infinity. Okay, so this is the bounded output. Bounded output. Okay, so this forms the important aspect of stability of a system. In the next class, we are going to discuss regarding the concept of linear time invariant memory of a system. Okay, and next we are going to understand the concept of invertibility. Okay, so after I complete all these aspects, we are going to solve a few more problems, and the problems are quite simple. Let me tell you, if you understand the property well, and if you know how to apply that property in a signal which is given, it would be quite easy. So again, it is like a check the periodicity or whether it is periodic or not. In the same way, you are going to get the problem there, right? So you need to be careful in understanding the given problem. Okay, and see to it that you are going to solve it and comment on its stability, whether it is linear or not, and so on. Okay, so